Creatively, it came about because Tony Krantz, again at CAA, who had set me up on ER, called me and said, do you know who Aaron Sorkin is? And I said, yes, I know who Aaron Sorkin is. I came out of the theater. Believe me, I know who Aaron Sorkin is. He said, well, he's thinking he would like to do a television show and you want to get together and have some lunch. And I said, sure. We got together and I thought it was just going to be the two of us. And it was like all these agents and Aaron and I. And then we ended up talking afterwards about, and I said, yeah, I'd love to do something with you. And we ended up talking about what he'd be interested in. And Aaron said, well, you know, I did The American President with Michael Douglas and Annette Bening, and I actually had turned in a big script to Rob Reiner that he didn't use a bunch of, because when I'd gone, I couldn't really spend much time with the president, so I spent all the time with all the staffers when I was doing my research, and I have all this stuff about all the people who work in the West Wing who I thought were really interesting people that Rob didn't use. And fortunately, Castle Rock was then being acquired by Warner Brothers, or had been just recently acquired by Warner Brothers. So I said, so do you want to just do the parts of the script that you didn't do? And he said, well, I want to use that as kind of the basis of it. Let's see if we can do it. So I went to Warner Brothers and said, you know, we're going to do some of the stuff that's in there. And they said, you got to ask Rob if it's okay. And Rob said it would be okay. That's where it started. It became something very different, but that was kind of the beginnings of it. They wanted me to stay on ER at NBC, and so we'd made this deal to do 6 shows in which they had to do shows. There were 2 of them, I can't remember the exact number, but I think 2 of them I could do puts, which means I'm going to make them whether you want to make them or not. And so we developed the script. Aaron turned the script in. They didn't like it. They didn't want to make it, which was like deja vu all over again. I said, well, you know, I got Aaron to do this, and he worked really hard on it. It's what we actually pitched you. We should do it.
What was the pitch?
The pitch was the other people who work in the White House. Like, you know, that they're really much more like us than you think. And that would be the best way to see how government actually really works. Got a lot of the same kind of research that from NBC about how nobody wants politics, nobody likes politics. Same kind of like nobody wants to see anybody dead in a hospital. I felt strongly that I had kind of promised Aaron that we could make it if we wanted to go down this road. It sat around for a while. Sports Night was written a little bit after West Wing and got made first because it sat for over a year while my deal about forcing them to do it, there was sort of a period of time I had to wait before I could force them. And then I forced them to make it. And Tommy Schlamme, who I've been working with, because he directed the live episode and done a bunch of ERs, had then gone over with Aaron. Now, my recollection of it is I think I recommended him to Aaron, but it's very possible that that's not true. But I've self-aggrandized myself by this point and said it is. I think it's true. I can't remember. But I think that's what happened. But they had been doing that. I said, we're going to do it. So you can either give it back to me and I'll take it to somebody else and have them do it, or are you going to make it? And they said, well, you're exclusive to us. And I said, well, then you're going to make it. So then we made it. And they didn't like it. And fortunately, the people who made it, who I had forced into making it, all left the network in between the time when we had forced them to make it and we actually delivered it. So there was sort of another group who were just like seeing everything that was coming in, and it tested well, and they put it on the network, and it just kind of took off.